Okay, whoever would have thought that WWE movies would be pretty decent when it comes to doing the pseudo-inspiring kind of family comedies. Because I like the last three that I've seen that have been primarily, dramas or comedies and whatnot. The Chaperone was done fairly well for WWE being more of a indie sort of company. Legendary, again, a fairly solid movie. So now we have Knucklehead. If you've seen the commercial, you know the basic premise of it. The Big Show, Paul White, is like a 34-year-old man who lives in an orphanage. So you have that whole bizarre man-child aspect to it. At the same time, you have a former fighter who is in trouble with his bookie. He has 10 days to come up with approximately $100,000. There's a fire at the orphanage where the Big Show lives, and they didn't pay their house insurance. So in order to get their home back up and ready, they have approximately 10 days to rebuild their kitchen and take care of lots of their other deficiencies inside the orphanage. Through a bizarre act of twist of fate, they actually meet each other. That's like, you know what? I can turn this guy into an amazing fighter. The problem is, one, since he's kind of like a man-child and a gentle giant. So he says all these bizarre, like, pro-am tournaments on their way to New Orleans for a giant pro-am tournament. So the first person he goes into a fight with is in a synagogue. All full of, like minor Jewish stereotypes. And Show actually wins his first fight without actually punching the guy. Because he doesn't know how to fight. At all. Then he goes on to his next fight. Essentially is in a guy's backyard. And he beats up the wrong guy. But pretty much like running at him and taking him through a fence. It's not really that funny. It's not like laugh out loud funny. It's like chuckle funny. What really ruined it for me is the occasional fart jokes, and when Show goes to the bathroom on a bus and he gets stuck. It's actually based on a true story where I think Paul White was on an airline and he had to go to the bathroom. And given his size, he couldn't get the door to shut all the way. As well as the other story where he went to the bathroom, I think it was in a Japanese hotel, and the hotel bathroom was really small, and when he backed into it, he knocked the wall down. So he's half-cheeked out in the hallway going to the bathroom. Or the time that he broke a toilet off of the wall mount. So it's based in some reality. So what you have is the woman who played Jan from The Office, a guy who's most known for being Doctor in Royal Pains, and the Big Show, kind of doing a road trip while occasionally going through kind of bizarre comedic fights. One of his most legendary fights is against Bare Knuckle Dave. It's not what you think it is. He fights a bear. So if you want to see the Big Show take on a bear, this is the movie for you. So of course eventually they make it down to New Orleans, where he's now in a tournament. Obviously he's primarily fought kind of like joke fighters. Now he's fighting actual fighters. They do a good job of making it seem like if Show were to kick you, you're knocked out. If Show were to punch you, you're knocked out. One guy he picks up by the throat and gives him a headbutt. And I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure if Show were to pick you up by your throat and hit you in the head with his head, you're probably knocked unconscious. So it's a pretty decent movie. It's nothing laugh out loud. It's nothing completely and totally hilarious, but it's pretty good. It's pretty solid. It's undeniably predictable, but it's got that pseudo kind of heartwarming. You could watch, with like your kids and whatnot sort of movie. And show has got amazing comedic time, but we've already known that. So, out of the most recent, three WWE movies, The Chaperone was pretty solid. Legendary, pretty solid. And Knucklehead, pretty solid. Which is weird because the opening couple movies they made were all action and horror, and they're not that good. But going more for like a family-oriented like drama, they're actually pretty decent movies, and that's Knucklehead.